Popcorn at the ready. That's what we need. "20 years in the business, and once upon a time radio meant radio, no pictures. I'm looking at a screen at the moment and I can see Van Connor. You don't look anything like your voice."
But neither do you, Alex. It's the weirdest thing, isn't it?
Isn't this weird? Radio never used to have faces, and now you can look at your guests on a screen. It's fantastic. The hilarious thing about this van, by the way, I'm not even sure where the camera is I'm supposed to be looking at. So hello.
It's right behind your mic. So I think I'm on a monitor 90 degrees away from you on your right, but you have to face forward. It's a weird system that Adam and I have going, admittedly.
It's bonkers. And can I just say, are you actually in a cinema at the moment? Because you've got burgundy, like plum-coloured drapes and a leather seat. It does actually look like quite a sort of late-night offering after a lot of drink. But, thank you.
I'm going to take that compliment because this is my home studio and I deliberately made it look like a cinema.
Looks great. Looks really, really good. It's fantastic. Now, time to movies. And as always, Mr. Connor, Van the Man Connor. You look great, by the way. We're talking about all sorts of things. First of all, the Oscars this weekend. Let's have a chat about that, because who deserves to win?
Who deserves? Well, there's actually quite a few deserving candidates this year. We've actually got some decent nominees for a change. It's surprising. It makes up for the absolute mess that was the BAFTAs anyway. But, some great nominees. Statistically speaking, Everything Everywhere All at Once looks like it might do pretty well this year. And I'm all for that. I think it's a great movie. I'd be happy to see that sweep away at the Oscars. I think it might be a bit too beloved to win Oscars, because it's a preferential balloting system where you don't just vote for the film you like, you rank the films you like when you're voting. So it tends to be the films in the middle of the pile. Not the good ones, not the bad ones, the middle ones always seem to win the Oscars. So pay attention to Elvis this year.
Elvis, you reckon? Okay, right, okay. And of all the films nominated here, which ones are actually really good fun to watch? I mean, which are the ones where we might actually get a smile, or it might make us think or do something? It might actually stir us.
I smiled a hell of a lot during Everything Everywhere All at Once. I mean, what else can you do with a multiverse spanning action adventure that stars Michelle Yeoh, a Ratatouille-style raccoon known as Raccoony, I think he's called.
Raccoony?
And hot dog fingers.
It's not Ray Cooney. It's not Ray Cooney, is it? I think it was a fast creator, wasn't he? Yeah, way back when. So the good ones, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. I say absolutely check that out. Of course, Top Gun Maverick is up for Oscars as well, and Avatar: The Way of Water, which I think makes this the first time since 1982 that the top two grossing films of the year have actually been up for Best Picture, which is bizarre when you think about it. It's a long, long time. Seeing Top Gun win something at the Oscars, I think, would say an awful lot. That would be quite meaningful, given what Top Gun Maverick has meant to so many people, especially after the pandemic. Adam, for instance, is the world's biggest Top Gun fan, so I know he'd be cheering all week next week if it took home any kind of gold. For me, the big stickler this year is going to be Best Actor, because that's one hell of a category. Who do you give it to? Do you give it to Colin Farrell? Do you give it to Brendan Fraser for The Whale? Do you give it to Austin Butler for Elvis? Are any one of those three absolute win in my books? Like, I'll be happy with any of those three. Anyone else, not so much. And then you get to the actress category, which it's just Cate Blanchett's show, really. Cate Blanchett's just strolling in and picking that one up.
Cool.
I don't think anyone else is bothering to prepare a speech.
Well, there we are. And the films we're reviewing this week, we've got Champion and Scream. Shall we start with Champion?
Yeah, so Champions, plural, because it's a very specifically team-focused movie.
Add an S to the script. There we go. Got you
solo directorial effort from Bobby Farrelly, one half of the Farrelly brothers, who, of course, over the years have brought us some of the most iconic comedies ever made. So Dumb and Dumber, Something About Mary, Kingpin, things like that. And but obviously his brother went on to some Oscar success himself with Green Book about 5 years ago, and now it's Bobby's turn, and he's decided he's going to make what's effectively SEN Mighty Ducks with basketball, for lack of a better. So Woody Harrelson is the sort of third string, down on his luck basketball coach who gets into a drink driving incident and is sentenced to community service that sees him serving as the coach for a sort of, lower tier division team of 20-something sort of young adults with special educational needs. And he then has to overcome his prejudices as well as coaching the team to championship glory, redeeming their self-esteem, boosting their confidence in the face of, prejudices and things like that, as well as balancing a burgeoning romance with the older sister of one of his star players, played here by Caitlin Olsen from
Who the hell are you?
Philadelphia.
I'm Marcus, the coach. Welcome to the team, Cosentino.
Look, don't flirt with me, okay? Let's keep this professional. I'm Ms. Cosentino to you.
Beg pardon, Miss Cosentino. We're going to play basketball. We're not surfing.
I know.
Well, what's with the boogie board?
Sometimes these things come in handy.
Okay, a boogie board.
Yes, you do you, I do me, okay? Where did you get this guy?
He just showed up one day.
Basketball. Thank you very much. So, it sounds like it's got jaunt. It's a bit jaunty.
It's good. It's good. It's not bad at all. It's a solid 3.5-star movie. It's not quite as dramatic nor quite as funny as it needs to be the dramedy that it's so clearly trying to define itself as. I will say, though, it is kind of like a slightly more upmarket School of Rock at times. It does have that going for it. But I have been going with SEN Mighty Ducks. I think that kind of sums it up.
I think you've done very well with that description, actually. So it's 3.5 stars out of 5. I do buckets of popcorn out of 10, so that's 7 out of 10, isn't it, by my maths?
7 buckets of popcorn. What I'll go through in the average Scream movie.
Pretty good stuff. Good stuff. And the second one is Scream 6, isn't it?
It is indeed. So, Scream 6, which might be the first one of this series that you actually need to have seen the one before it to actually kind of get the mythology of it. Although it is a straight-up legacy sequel. So here you have the surviving characters of Scream 5, which in and of itself was a requel, as they say in there. They have gone off to Manhattan to try and live their lives, escape the trauma of the past, only for said past, in the form of the masked killer Ghostface, to follow them to the Big Apple and unleash chaos on the city that never sleeps. You know what you're in for, but this time it's in New York. Have a listen. This is more of a sizzle reel.
It's for you.
Strange that you and I have never spoken on the phone. This is long overdue.
What is this place?
A shrine.
Did you miss me?
He's gonna keep coming after us. Maybe he gets to win this time. We've got to lure him in.
Oh, I
Maybe
say.
execute him.
Oh, blimey. Okay. Well, it's dramatic. I give it that. By the way, can I just say, while you're telling me more about that film, I'm going to turn off the big lights in here because I've suddenly realised you look great in your studio. I look rubbish. Absolutely rubbish with this light. You crack on, love. I'm just going to turn the lights down.
It's because you've not got that sexy mood lighting that Adam normally has. There it is. There it is. The sexy
Isn't
red
that better?
ambience that
I can
Adam
sit in the
usually goes
dark
for.
now.
That's
This is great, and I look great on telly in the dark. This is good. So yes, a nice sounding film, but you need to have seen Scream 5 to really get it.
I think this is the first sequel that I would say is truly steeped in the mythology, where you actually need franchise knowledge, because a lot of it depends on the legacy of previous killers. But all of your characters now are the survivors who were introduced in the last movie. It's the first one that doesn't feature Neve Campbell as Sydney. You do have Courtney Cox, I think, is the only OG returnee here. She's the only one coming back from the original movies, in fact, all of them, because we lost David Arquette in the last one. Neve Campbell's out of it for ... reasons. She's just explained away as not showing up. But the new cast, which includes Marissa Barrera and Lady of the Moment, Jenna Ortega. Oh, my dream lady. Jenna Ortega
Not
in
mine,
the lead
but...
there as well. And they fare pretty well. It's a solid movie. There's a return for the de-aged CG effect that is young Billy Loomis or Skeet Ulrich Maverick in there. There's some great inventive kills. They use the setting, the New York setting, quite effective. It's a wonderful sequence on a subway with loads of people in Halloween costumes. Imagine how many Scream masks appear in that, which ranks as my favorite horror movie subway sequence since Predator 2 33 years ago, Predator 2. My favorite sequence on a subway car since then. It's a good sequel. I'm not a fan of Scream sequels in general. I think they pale in comparison to the first one. This is the one I think I actually would rank highest out of the 5 sequels, though.
Oh, get in. This is marvellous stuff. So buckets of popcorn out of 10?
I'll give this 8 buckets of popcorn,
8?
which is about what I ate while watching it.
So
if I'm
4
honest.
out of 5 or 8 out of 10. This is pretty cracking. Thank you very much. So Scream 6 and Champions, and thank you very much indeed for your knowledge about Oscars as well. Can I just ask you one question? Because it's always lovely to see you. First of all, you don't look anything like you sound, which is always fascinating to me. As
I hope
someone
I'm
who's
better
spent-
looking
You're
than what I sound.
Gorgeous, girls. He's gorgeous. But the other thing, what are you up to this weekend? What's going on? What you got what plans?
Well, funnily enough, I have to go and cover the Oscars all Sunday night, so I'll be seconded to News UK on Sunday evening, where I think I'm on Times Radio and Talk Sport and Talk TV.
We don't know who
and
they
all
are.
sorts on
I've no
Sunday
idea
night
what
for the
that's all
Oscars.
about. But you're working, basically, yeah?
I'm working, but until then, I do have a couple of Oscar movies left to watch, just on the pile, just to get them off the shelf before Oscar night.
Oh, lovely.
Arrives.
I mean, the
I
only
have
reason
got that to look forward
the
to.
only reason I ask is because I just wouldn't do what Freya Ridings is doing. She's going to talk about her miserable weekend.
I don't really have friends, don't go out on